What's going on, guys? How y'all doing today? Southern Guy here. A weekly exclusive video today for y'all guys. Unfortunately, AEW Dynamite will not be airing until Friday night, so we're not going to be able to do Dynamite. But we got an more interesting video. So it's well in depth. It may make you emotional. It may make you emotional. It may not make you emotional. But we'll talk about my beginning, which is the beginning of my relationship, and we're going to talk about it right here today on my official YouTube channel, which I never ever talked about my relationship. We've been together since we started talking. Started out like this. We started talking in December. We met online. We met online in December, and it went from there. It went from us having a conversation. We met on a dating site online, and she lived in Alabama in the same area I lived in. I lived in Mobile. She lived in Baldwin County, and we just started hitting it off and talking. We just started hitting it off and talking online. She eventually gave me her number. We started texting. Back and forth now. And we started talking back in December, and that led into New Year's, where we started talking on the phone. Starting to have conversations on New Year's of last year. We started talking on the phone, and she said that she had somebody she was talking to at the time, but we still kept in touch anyway. And we left from there. She wanted to give me a first date, so I think it was back in January. Back in January, we had our first date. We had our first date in January, and it blossomed from there. We went on our first date. I didn't make a really good impression. I wasn't really dressed good. I was looking at my phone. I was so nervous because I was nervous. It was my first date. I got this beautiful woman. I'm meeting her for the first time, and I was really nervous. I got to admit it was my fault. She didn't really want to give me a second chance, but she actually did, and I'm thankful for that because, we went from there to keep on, started seeing each other more. She started coming over eventually. She broke it off with the guy and started seeing me, which is I'm thankful for. I prayed to God to get this woman in my life because I saw, I knew, she was going through stuff as well as me, and I knew, I could help her through stuff. So I prayed to God. I prayed for this God prayer to get her in my life, which it did. It did happen. It did eventually happen. And she started coming over, but we sat outside. At first, we started sitting outside. She came over, but eventually, the stuff just kept developing. And she eventually we started blossoming there. I got to go over her house eventually. As it started staying the night. At nights, we eventually talked about getting married. And I started going to stay nights over. She started coming over first, though, at my house. We started meeting up in this area by my house. And then eventually she started coming over to the house and hanging out. We started sitting outside together talking. And she was allowed to come in and use the restroom. And things just blossomed, She got eventually down the line, she got to meet my parents, which was great. My parents really love her and are really approval, really appreciate. My stepmom really appreciates her. My dad likes to, and things just developed, from there. I started going to stay the night with her. After that, she started coming over. Eventually, I finally got to where I could go stay the night. Spent the nights over, and it just was great. We talked about eventually getting married back then, back in the beginning of the year. But I think it was March, or something. I started coming over her house. But in April, then things changed. Eventually, she got to come over to my house, cleaned up my room where I was staying in. My son was staying in. It was pretty nasty. Pretty nasty. So she got to come over and help my stepmom. My stepmom got all my clothes together. And I eventually moved in a couple of months ago. And they cleaned up the room for my son, which I'm not going to talk about that in that detail, but they cleaned up the room. It was such a mess. My stepmom got all my clothes together and put them to the side for me to take with me to move in with my lovely future wife, which we're getting married on, which was great. She got to help me load it up, my clothes, in the back of the truck, and then I got to move in with her. And now here we are. I've been living here since, I think, for a couple of months now. I enjoyed it, helping her clean house while she works. And we do little things here and there. We got a lot of stuff planned. You know, we're getting married June 21st, which is a couple of Mondays now. We're supposed to be getting married on June 21st. And our wedding anniversary, we're going to celebrate our wedding, us getting married. We're going to go out, our honeymoon. We're going to have a honeymoon. We're planning to probably go Florida or somewhere like that for our anniversary, for our wedding. You know, after getting married thing, we're planning to go to, Florida or Panama or somewhere like that. I'm not sure yet, but we're planning that. And in July, we're planning to go out to California, which I've never been to California. Neither she hasn't been to California, so it's the first experience for the both of us as a married couple. As I said, I'm getting married June 21st. I met the great woman in my life. God gave her to me. I prayed for her to come to my life, and I come to her and helped her a lot lately. I helped her through a rough time, and we're so happy together, and we're getting married. That's pretty much it. June 21st, 2021. So I'm excited, guys. So that's my little love story. I wanted to put something out today on the channel. So if you enjoy this, please hit that thumbs up as hard as you can. Please subscribe to the channel right here at Southern Guy, my official YouTube channel. We got a lot of views still to come out. Like I said, Dynamite's on Friday now, so they're in the mix of SmackDown. Also, didn't hear they're going to be cutting pay-per-views shorter. I just saw something about that pop up from Ringside News. They're going to be cutting pay-per-views shorter. I don't know what that means, but we'll find out. But I hope you enjoyed this little story from me today. How I met my wife, soon-to-be wife, and we're getting married June 21st, 2021. If you enjoyed it, hit that thumb as hard as you can. Please subscribe to the channel right here on YouTube.com.